Hey everyone, in today's vlog we are going to look at the magician, and I'm going to relate this to consciousness and how you can use the energy of the magician or tarot to manifest, because consciousness is essentially creation, imagination, manifestation. So this is the original drawing of what the magician looked like from the Egyptian era, I believe. You can go back and look at the Law of One teachings, specifically tarot. But this is what it looked like, and I'm going to break it down and explain what I think it is, because it's really important for you to pick up on your own what you see of this card and relate it to your life. That's the purpose of these cards. These are energy imprints. They're archetypes. They're within us. They are within our DNA, and all I'm going to do is attempt to explain my experience with it and what I think of it. Okay, so that's the magician. Now this is the modern day magician card. So the modern day magician card, as you can see, looks really different. So the modern day magician card, he's got all the elements, the element of the wand, the cup, the coin, and the sword, right? They're sitting on his table. He's got the infinity symbol, one hand pointing with a candlestick upwards, his finger pointing downwards. And basically what I see in this card is as above, so below. Whereas in this card, you see him holding in his hand. Whenever I see orbs like that, circles, I see that as consciousness. So I see him holding in his hand consciousness. And when you look down here, you see a box with a caged bird, and there's a lot of heaviness around the box, and the box is at his feet. It's below his knees. To me, it looks as if, maybe not, but it's below him. But the orb is in his hand, right, like up to him, so he can see it. He can't really see the box unless he looks down, right? So now, what does this mean? Now, the magician in the Law of One is the mind complex. So this card is related to our mind. Okay, it is also the number one, and the number one is new beginnings, creation. And remember, this is all how I've experienced this. So comment below if you want to add to this. I love it when people do that. Please do. Or if you have, any suggestions on what it may be, that's fine too. But number one is new beginnings. It's creation. It's when you basically, when you go with the flow. Now, going with the flow is great, but then you also have to put action into whatever you're going with the flow with. Otherwise, you're not gonna see it here on this earth in our third dimension environment. So number one, it's that focus, the creation, the imagination, the manifestation. So this is also number one. It's the mind complex. This is also the matrix. So remember, it's the mind complex, and this card represents the matrix. Now, why does it represent the matrix? Why? So let's break it down a little bit. I have my notes. Like I said, if you want these notes, I created a it's called Spiritual Mind Maps on Instagram. You can go look for it. I've already posted it. All right, so this guy here on the Tree of Life is called Beth. So, and Beth is directly linked to Kathir, which is the soul, which is God essentially, or you can call it greater consciousness. Not collective consciousness, it's your higher consciousness, okay? So Beth, which is the magician, is directly linked on the Tree of Life to Kathir. And it is that force of the mind of God which sets the wheels of creation into motion. So it's number one, and it's that force. So when we see or say force, that to me means it is fire and energy, or it's your intuition. So when you get these little jolts or these little nudges of intuition, that is the energy of, it's your own archetype, it's your own spirit that's talking to you, but it is your spirit, it's your, and if you want to imagine it in your mind, this is all this is supposed to do, is it's supposed to help you with life so you understand what you're going through. So that first intuition of creation, maybe you need to begin something new. That little nudge that you get of an idea or a thought is the Magician. Now, in this card, fire is represented by the wand. Okay, so this represents the 4 elements. Here you see it in the box, so the box can possibly represent the 4 elements, but what I like to do is I want to turn this box into kind of a diamond and then explain the 4 elements this way. Okay, so that first little strike that you get is this guy, the intuition. Now what happens though with this energy is the intuition comes to us, but we are so, this is the matrix, we are so in the matrix right here that we are actually taught not to follow our gut feeling. We are not, we're so programmed with the matrix to think, oh, whatever, that's nothing. The ego right here keeps us in a box, and this box is heavy, it's layers. Like, look at the heaviness and the shading around the box. The box is big, but it's even heavy on this bird. It's come down on this bird. And then underneath is the black and white, because there's always, remember this is my interpretation, right? You interpret this on your own, that's what they're meant for. So I see this as, but there's, even in the gray, there's always light. It's yin and yang. So if you can step into and you just see even a spark of light, and that light to me is when you follow that intuition. So for example, if you're driving and you get this little nudge that says, take a right, go this way, not that way, and you're like, okay, maybe you're in a good mood, your feelings are, you're vibing, the sun's out and you feel good, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna follow my intuition, I'm gonna take that right. Then you're like, holy shit, you get home and you're like, thank God I took that right, because if I had taken a left, I'd be stuck in traffic. There was an accident for like 3 hours. That is this guy. What you did was you saw the light in that moment, maybe because you felt good. It's always about how you feel. And you used your own consciousness. You connected with the consciousness of the Magician card. So you connected with the higher consciousness in that moment when you were being sent that thought. It's the force. This is the force of the intuition coming into your mind, which is fire energy. You listened to that and you took the right. That is, like I said, when you're following the orb. The orb is essentially, it's God. It is your higher self too, but spirit is more your higher self. It's connected to you. It's part of your aura. We all have spirits, but the soul or God is higher intelligence, the higher collective. Whereas the spirit is more part of collective consciousness. All right, so this is the soul, God. And we're connected to God through our spirit. That's the job of our spirit, the inside, our internal plane, our aura. It's rooted to Kathir. It's rooted to the higher collective. So that's how I see this card. I see this card as a quick breakthrough. And if you follow that breakthrough, you follow that intuition, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go into this part, which is action. It's the beginning to think. It's like, okay, I got the intuition to take a right. My thought, I didn't go against it. My thought was, I'm gonna follow my intuition. I'm gonna take that right. I did something. If you get an intuition and you don't follow it, let's say, you know, you just keep going by habit the way that you normally go, I would have also been stuck. I would have been stuck somewhere for like 3 hours in a traffic jam. Now, the other thing is, sometimes we get intuitions, a lot of times we get intuitions that are actually for our highest good, but we ignore them. So if you do not do anything and the intuition comes to you from this source, the intuition pipeline is there, it comes to you, but then you decide, I'm not gonna do anything, you just ignore it, then it just vanishes into air. The consciousness of it just melts away, because God doesn't really, it doesn't matter. The intuitions are there for your highest good, but it's your own free will to create as you may. That is my interpretation. And this is just a very, it's only 11 minutes and I have so much to say about this card, but this is just a little tidbit of information. And I hope that helps you guys. Love you guys. Bye.